All right, good afternoon. I'm Meteorologist Robertson bringing you a quick update on what's going on outside on this Tuesday. Not much, which is good. We can always use a little bit of a break, but there are a couple of downpours out there. Not a lot, so we'll talk about that. If you're watching, let me know where you're watching from. If you have any questions, please let me know. And we're going to talk about what's going on in the tropics too, an area a bit close to home that we're keeping our eye on. Nothing has formed yet, but we are watching it closely. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section and I will answer them, or try to at least, throughout the forecast here. What you're looking at starting off this afternoon, you're looking at downtown Tampa. How pretty. You see a few clouds behind the skyline there. This is from our Armature Works camera. It's looking good, feeling good out there, feeling hot. Maybe good, relatively speaking, but definitely feeling quite like a summer day across the area. 92 degrees in Tampa, 90 in St. Pete. We didn't have a lot of rain today, not a lot of clouds to cool us down either, so no rain, cooled air, our darker gray skies to bring those temperatures down. So we're definitely feeling the heat today. We have heat indices feeling a little bit more like triple digits out there. You can see it here. Feels like 106 in Tampa. Ooh, hot. Feels like 102 in Lakeland, feels like 100 degrees in St. Pete. So we still have a couple of hours here, that window for the peak heat. So if you're going to be heading outside, heading to the beach, doing any outdoor activities, going on for that run, walking the dog, and maybe the kids too. Make sure you have your water on you, a nice ice cold water before you head outdoors, because you will need it. It's one of those days. We have high dew points, a lot of moisture to work with, but not a lot of moisture in the mid-levels, and that's one of the reasons why we're actually not seeing a lot of storms out there. So it does feel quite humid, but we are missing that kind of key summertime ingredient, which is a lot of scattered activity. And you can kind of see here from Citrus all the way down to kind of Sarasota County, pretty dry. We're really not seeing much at all in the sense of rain. We still have that southwesterly flow. With this flow in place, we tend to get storms and showers a little earlier on in the day as these showers form offshore and then they push onshore throughout commute time and through kind of the early afternoon hours. And then as we get into the afternoon, late afternoon, early evening, the storms tend to intensify and then they push well off to the eastern coast of Florida. We're kind of seeing that today a little bit. You can see here, I'm going to zoom in to the eastern coast, just to the south of Fort Pierce, down to Indiantown, kind of along that I-95 area. That's where we're seeing the most intense activity, and in our southern part of the state here. Technically out of our viewing area, but you can really see how, relatively speaking, a lot drier we are compared to South Florida and even Eastern Florida. And even around the Orlando area, they're seeing a lot more storms form than what we're seeing here. What's offshore? I think because we just have this drier air we're working with. They can't really form, they try to, but they don't last for very long. So you can kind of see offshore here what could have pushed onto the Pinellas County or Manatee County coast, and it just didn't. One storm heading out of the Fort Myers area, kind of into Port Charlotte. It's going to be riding into Arcadia pretty soon here. That may be one of our more robust storms of the day. Other than that, we're looking pretty good. We still have a window for a few more showers and storms to move in, but for now, we're really just not seeing much out there at all. Looking out in the Gulf of Mexico, we are watching this area. You can kind of see a little bit of spin there, that counterclockwise circulation. There is a low that formed along the stalled boundary. One of the reasons why we had a pattern shift, those showers starting earlier on yesterday, because we had those winds moving out of the southwest, because we had a front move in and drape across the northern part of the state. And along that we had low pressure form. That tends to happen. But when we have low pressure forming in the Gulf of Mexico, there's always a reason to watch it. So the National Hurricane Center does have this area, this hashed area in the yellow that they're watching for potential development. One of the good news about this is that we were at a 30% chance, still a low chance, but a slightly higher chance that this will develop into a potential depression or a storm within the next 5 days. It went down to 20%. So some slight improvements there. Is looking like the National Hurricane Center is just not really seeing what this could formulate into, which is good. But even despite development. It's going to dump some heavy rain across the Panhandle, Louisiana, kind of that Gulf Shore coastline, Mississippi, Alabama, throughout the next couple of days. This troughing here, one of the reasons why we're seeing all this rain activity. But yeah, we're just gonna have to keep watching it. There's just kind of low development chances as for now, and if it does develop, it'll be our 4th storm of the year. It becomes a storm, but it's looking a little unlikely. But anything in the Gulf of Mexico this time of year, and just temperatures in the Gulf, my goodness, bath water. Very hot in the Gulf of Mexico. That is just fuel for these low pressure systems to kind of form into something more tropical. But for now, no concerns. But if you have any plans along the Panhandle over the next couple of days, just keep in mind that you will run into some pockets of rain. Yesterday was a rainy day. Today, we're seeing a very similar situation play out in the northern Gulf. Our wider view here, not terrible. Here's our setup. We have this ridge of high pressure that is pumping in the winds out of the southwest for now, but we're going to transition to more of a southeasterly flow as we head into the rest of the week, and eventually easterly flow. What this means is that we will start to see those showers later on in the day. There's a spotty shower chance early afternoon, but those sea breezes really do meet up later in the afternoon through the early evening hours. So that's going to be our best shot for rain over the next coming days, because we do have this change in flow. The flow is definitely more of a summertime flow, so expect those afternoon showers and storms to return as we head into the rest of the week. And we'll be working with a little more moisture too, especially as we enter the weekend. But we have this high that is bringing that tropical flow out of the south, eventually turn to the southeast. As you get well north into the New England area, there is a strong line, a squall line of a damaging winds that's going to be, that is right now heading into areas all the way from Vermont down into kind of Washington, D.C., Pennsylvania, West Virginia. There are thunderstorm watches in effect. I don't believe there might be a couple of thunderstorm warnings. Yeah, there are. Sometimes it's kind of difficult to tell what is the watch box and what's the warning box, but these storms are packing a punch out of our area though, which is nice. But the Northeast is definitely getting in on some of their summertime storms for today. At least it's nice and tranquil here, relatively speaking. Tranquil enough, Florida tranquil. Along with the strong storms, the heat, yeah, that is another story. Throughout some parts of the South, especially in Texas. Oh my goodness. You can see the feel-like temperatures, if they load. We're in triple digits in many parts of Texas today. 102 in Dallas, 109 in Brownsville. Even Arkansas, 109 degrees is what it feels like in Little Rock. So the heat is definitely at play today. That kind of matches our feel-like temperatures. They already had air temperatures very, very high today. Coupled with that humidity is going to make it feel a lot hotter, and it already is. They have a couple more hours for that heat to slow down and ease up. But it was really a scorcher of a day throughout parts of Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas, even parts of Oklahoma. Here in Florida too, but that does feel a little different once you get into those areas that are a bit more landlocked. They don't have a sea breeze to cool them down like we do, thankfully. So just feeling pretty bad out there. So that's nationally, excuse me, what's going on across the country. Here, not that bad. And as we get into the next couple of days, you really see we do return to more of that summertime type of flow. I'm actually going to go into our other model here. There we go. So the rest of your Tuesday is going to look kind of like this. Not terrible. You have to watch out for a couple of scattered showers and storms. My goodness, this is slow. All right. So you can see how all those storms just really pushed to the eastern coast of Florida out of our area. So I-95 corridor really has a better shot of getting those heavier downpours tonight. we stay dry for the most part. So it was a great night to get outside. Just make sure if you're going to be heading out over the next couple of hours to grab those ice cold waters because you will need it. But your Tuesday, not bad. Wednesday, looking decent, but you can kind of see as we get into the start of the afternoon, very similar to how we kind of wrapped things up last week. We have some isolated showers along the western coast, very isolated, nothing too heavy as you get into around after lunchtime, 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. But you can see those sea breezes meet as you get into around 7 to 8 o'clock. They meet in our interior counties before a few of these storms push back towards the Gulf of Mexico. So you can just really see how this works out. 6 to 7 o'clock, I-75 and to the west, you guys have, to the east, excuse me, I-75 to the east, interior Florida. Really good shot, a few heavy downpours as you get into around 7 to 8 o'clock. So later on in the day, kind of around dinner time, or even after dinner, trying to put the kids to sleep. Around 8:30, 9 o'clock, a few of these storms will try to push back towards the coast. Not everyone's going to see rain tomorrow, just a select few. And we head into Thursday, more of the same. So we have more of that easterly flow in place as we head into Thursday. That's more of the typical summertime flow for us. Your morning will be dry. You can get outside, get to the beach, get that run on earlier on. Getting into the afternoon, you can see a few showers try to form along the coast at first. Before, whoa there, all right. Before we get into around commute time, 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock, you can see some heavy downpours firing up in Manatee, Sarasota County, pretty much all across the area. We do have way higher rain chances getting into Thursday. There is a better chance that you may see some rain at your home. This is 5 o'clock. Woof, and you can really see how those sea breezes come together as you get into 6 or 7 o'clock. Look at all that rain, those torrential downpours. I may have to stay a little bit later to help Natalie Ferrari track some of these storms because they may get a little intense, a little rowdy as you get into around 6 or 7 o'clock. A lot of people may still be on the road at that time. So just keep an eye on the radar if you're going to be traveling, maybe from work or picking the kids up from summer camp around 6 to 7 o'clock in the evening. But it won't be an all-night situation, even though these storms will be heavy and some of this lingering rain could last for about an hour afterwards with some of these really heavy downpours. But all this will wrap up, push towards the coast as you get into that night, and will be done by around 10 to 11 o'clock. So the rain won't last all night, obviously, but you can really see how intense these storms will get as you get into 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock on your Thursday. So this is a couple of days ahead, and then we're done. And then Friday, we may get some drier air moving in here, at least briefly on Friday, but for now, expect a very similar situation with storms firing up around that same time. Isolated around lunchtime, but we get way better coverage as you get into 5 to 6 o'clock, lasting until about 8 to 9 as they push towards the coast. And then we're done with it through the overnight hours. So we are returning to that more typical summertime pattern as we wrap up the week here. You can see that reflected in our rain chances. Today, not really big rain chances. We could have even brought it down to about a 30% chance because it really wasn't that big. We had about 40 today. Just enough dry air to really just kind of suppress some of those showers. No complaints there, especially after a showery Monday. But by Wednesday, those rain chances go up. By Thursday, they really bump up. And then they stay kind of on the higher end Friday through Saturday. So just keep that reindeer around. Reindeer. I think I have Christmas on my brain. Keep that rain gear around Thursday through Saturday. And you won't be caught off guard, especially if you have our radar, 10 Tampa Bay app. Check it out. It's very, very helpful. So here's your 7-day forecast. Not terrible. We will stay nice and hot over the coming days. One of the good things about having these showers come in, even though they're going to come in a little later on in the day, the rain will help to cool us down a little bit. So today was nice and toasty. The next couple of days will be nice and toasty, but some of that rain cooled air could bring down the temperatures a little bit, at least for a brief while, depending on where it rains. And getting throughout the rest of the week, Saturday into Sunday, low 90s across the area. Scattered showers and storms throughout most of your afternoon and evenings. So I would say head out in the mornings if you really want to beat that rain and if you want to beat the heat. Beat the rain, beat the heat, head out between 7 o'clock to 10 to 11 o'clock. Those are your ideal times. I'm a morning person, so I don't mind heading out that early. And there's nobody out usually at that time. There's some people out, but it's not crowded. Get everything done early and beat that heat. Okay, and hi Debbie, how's it going? My lone viewer there. I feel like it's always kind of harder to do these lives when I feel like I'm talking to myself. And it gets really quiet in a newsroom, which is, I'm so used to it being very, very loud in here. I've gotten comfortable to it being loud while I do these. When it's quiet, it's like, oh God, should I be quiet? Here's one last look at Tampa from an Armature Works camera. I'm gonna leave it on here. I would leave it on the radar usually, but there's just not much rain on there. So we'll leave it with a really pretty shot of our wonderful skyline. Small but mighty. All right, I'll see you guys soon, tomorrow, same time, same place. Talk to you guys. Have a great Tuesday. Enjoy it. Bye.